The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Media Mash, a roundtable of Cowboys insiders dropping wisdom and offering sizzling takes on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys. Now, your host, Newy Scruggs.
It has been far too long since we've gotten together, but we've assembled a team of insiders for more information because football never stops. John Machota of The Athletic is here. Nick Eatman, the originator and ungraded from DallasCowboys.com, and the longest tenured beat writer around, old man Clarence Hill, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. How was the birthday celebration? I'm Newy Scruggs, by the way. How was the birthday celebration over the weekend, man?
It was good, man. I was looking for you guys. I mean, you got invited, you know.
I did not get an invite.
You did. You got invited on Facebook invite. Yes, I sent it to you. I definitely added you.
You? All right, we're not even going to talk about. You're on Facebook a lot more than I am. Let's put it that way. You need to send these things on Twitter, man. Seriously, that's where I live.
He was in Arlington, so you weren't going anywhere.
No, you never. No,
I was like, let me invite Machota.
for Chill's big day, I would have been there.
I had Todd on there. Let me put this out there for everybody. But it was good. I was trying to, I had a birthday celebration. My birthday was actually during the draft, and I couldn't do anything during the draft because
Why?
Because we had the draft.
But what else? You weren't here for the entire draft.
And then my daughter had something. She won state in gymnastics. We haven't talked about that.
That's
My
pretty
daughter
awesome.
went so it's been a surreal couple of weeks, man. You know,
Young Simone Biles, man.
yeah,
Congratulations.
And there's this narrative out there that I'm the jinx because since I've showed up covering the Cowboys, I got 4 playoff wins. I got the retirements of Dion and Emmett and Michael and Troy and everything else. But I showed up in '96. After the 3 Super Bowl titles, and this is
So did Rowdy.
As somebody pointed out, it was Rowdy. But I'm not the jinx because I raised champions. I got to stay champion, so I'm no longer. It's not on my list. It's above me now.
Okay.
It's proof that I raised champions.
Okay.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's above me now.
When you say you're here, I go back to the old Parcells line. All I can go by is what I see.
Exactly, and you see a champion. We got new evidence.
There you go.
She gonna come out for
Demonstrated ability. Since you want to talk about Parcells, we go about demonstrated ability. I got demonstrated ability to raise the champion.
You gonna get a job here or something? We got to bring in the organization somehow to get something
I'm
done.
just saying it's bigger than me. It's above me now. But it was a good event. I was raising money for my dad. My dad passed away in February. It's been a tumultuous, trying year with so much going on. I got my daughters are graduating. I'm going to miss minicamp this week because my daughter's graduating from Howard University this weekend, and so I'll be leaving on Thursday. I won't be here for any camp, and my youngest daughter graduates high school on May 28th, and actually I'm going to Howard on Thursday, flying back Saturday because my youngest daughter has prom Saturday night. So it's a whirlwind.
She's going to Rice.
And she's going to Rice, yes.
That is a lot.
Nice. You do have some champions there going on.
It's a lot, but it's girl dad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, who signs the contract extension first? CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Trayvon Diggs. And I'm just going to assume they're going to keep holding Micah off because they got another year on that because of the 5th year for him. So, what does Jerry do?
You can't do Micah.
Yeah, you can't do Micah.
Can't do Micah yet, which they need to get one of these done, at least maybe 1 or 2 before. I don't know.
Talking to Stephen Jones and Jerry, they want to get they would like to get, in the perfect world, to get one of CeeDee or Diggs done before the season.
Yeah, I would think training camp.
They would want to get one of those 2 done.
I mean, he's not on the same level, but Steele would be in that mix too. I would imagine Steele to sign, maybe in training camp too, but he's not on that level.
We need to find out if it's going to be a guard, tackle, it's going to be starting, be a backup, man.
We're not going no one knows Micah's position.
Well, Michael's an all-pro.
Okay, well.
But I'm just
Depends on who you talk to. They think Steele's going to be there too.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm sorry for putting Terrence Steele in the conversation.
Yes, he's not in the big money conversation, but this is about the big money.
Okay.
Can we?
I bet he is, but
I
bet he is. I'm just saying.
Relatively speaking,
okay,
these guys are going to get top 5 at their position type money.
Got it.
That's all I'm saying. Yes, any money Steele gets is going to be big money to us.
I know.
And to him.
Okay.
But we're talking about top 5. Top 5 at their position money.
Okay.
And you got to get Dak done. I mean, if they're committed to Dak, as they say they are, they're not going to wait to the end of the season. You really want to get it to that point.
Prices are going up. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I think Lamb's the most likely. I could see the Trayvon Diggs. I mean, I could see that being one of those things where it plays out to where next thing you know, they're franchise tagging him a year from now. But yeah, those two would make the most sense. And I just, as much as Steven has said it, and then Dak brought it up, last week about the whole, well, this might just happen overnight. There's just no way I believe that the Dak contract happens overnight. Just the way it went last time, I just don't think it's going to be one of these things where we're just like, kind of like the Jalen Hurts thing, where just kind of, it just happened. Obviously, they were working on it for a while in Philly, but then all of a sudden you just see it. I just don't see that happening with
Well, the
with
difference
Dak.
with last time was it because of the lead up, because they put the franchise tags on him, and it was such a big deal. And I think, when it came out, it was kind of overnight because we had he was injured. We didn't really know that they were going to get it done, especially when coming off the injury that year.
But it just was a full solid year of just talk
Yes,
about we were close right before the deadline, all this stuff, and so it was just a constant storyline.
I think that's what Steven was talking about, that we don't want to make it a storyline because they were part of that storyline because they fueled it by answering questions or whatever else about it. And again, you're talking about a situation where they put the franchise tag on. He had held out, during the offseason program, missed all the offseason programs. So it was a storyline for the whole season.
Yeah. But they've been asked a lot of questions about it in the last couple of months, though, too. They haven't really said that much about it, but they've been asked a lot quite often.
Let me throw this chum in the water. This is just my take. You go back to when Jared Goff and Carson Wentz got their deals and the Cowboys decided to not do anything. But we all felt that Dak was in that category of those players. Fast forward, you see Jalen Hurts gets his deal, Lamar Jackson gets his deal. Joe Burrow is coming and Justin Herbert's coming. Wouldn't this now be a smart time to get a deal done and say, hey, look, we'll pay you more than Lamar Jackson. Let's get this thing done and go away? Nick?
Is he worth that? I mean,
Worth? We're doing worth now?
Well, I mean,
was he worth $40 million before?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Perfect you say that, because that was the same thing. That was the same conversation about Wentz and Goff at the time.
Yeah.
Worth. Not about the worth. This is about the timing.
Yeah,
it's about the market.
Well, yeah, and maybe that's why it's not a good time for the Cowboys to do that. And again, I'm looking at other ones too. I mean, like, didn't Daniel Jones get money? Has he got his money yet?
Yeah, 40. Same Dak's contract, yeah.
So, I mean, like, I could be wrong on this. I think he's like 14th or 15th in average salary right now.
Who?
Dak.
No,
he's tied for ninth. That's what Daniel.
Okay,
said.
okay,
Yeah, 40 million.
Okay, so I think what it is when if something doesn't happen in the next few months or so, when those guys you just mentioned, he's going to fall to that. And Stevens was the one that told us that, I think, in Mobile, that he expects Dak to be around 14 or 15. He said it. You were there. I don't know if you were paying attention, but he said it right in front of us that he expected to be about 14 or 15 when all these deals kind of come through.
Okay.
And so that's what they're kind of forecasting. That makes me think that they are going to let that stuff happen before he gets to anything. And I don't know. I think it's probably a smart move there. Let's wait and let's get one more year. Let's see kind of what the narrative looks like. I don't think you have to do it right now.
Again, the issue is, no, they don't have to do it right now because they can go to 2024 and let it play out. He has a no trade clause. He has a no tag clause. All that, and you really talking about the buildup. If you go into 2024, that's going to be the talk the whole season.
Yeah.
And do you really want that? But the reason it's a conversation because of what Steven said. He's our quarterback for the next 10 years. We want to get it done now. He said to Combine, this is the time to start talking about it.
Right.
So they're the ones who put this narrative out there that they want to get the deal done.
But they've also been the ones that wanted, 5-6 years. They always talked about that with Dak, and then when the deal gets done, it's only for 4.
But the years is different than we want to get a deal done.
They've always wanted. They would have been fine with doing that Mahomes deal.
I understand that.
Where you get to 10 years.
Right, but we're just talking about the point of getting the deal done.
Yeah.
They're the ones who said openly. They didn't have to say he's going to be. They could have said, "Hey, we'll wait and see. We're going to see how he's under contract. We'll see how it plays out." They're the ones who've been committed, overly committed, that Dak's our guy front. We have no blink, no nothing about this guy being our quarterback for years to come. If that's the case,
you also have to say that though.
Mm-hmm.
You have to say. You cannot sit there and I mean, you can be an idiot and do that because obviously there's other people that have done that around the league.
You can say we like Dak. We go to the country. We're paying him, and let's see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Diggs. How do we see Diggs in terms of the contract? Because obviously every agent's going to go to Jerry looking to be the highest paid at their position.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tradition like no other. You go to Jerry and you try to be the highest paid center, tackle, linebacker, whatever you can be.
I don't see how he's not in the top 5 highest paid corners, and which would put you at $20 million a year. I don't know, like if he's not getting $20 million a year, $21 million a year from the Cowboys, he'll get it from somebody else.
From someone else. I agree. When you look at the names too, and I mean, I looked them up not too long ago. I think Denzel Ward is one of them.
Yeah.
He's really good. The other 2 guys, it escapes me, and that's probably to the point is that what you were just saying is that
Diggs, Miami's been paid heavily.
Yeah.
Xavier.
I don't think he's in that group of 20 though. I really don't think that is. I'm sorry. Sorry for
Ramsey.
that. Yeah, Ramsey.
Ramsey's been paid.
Yeah. I think he's worth it. I really do. I think he had a pretty good year last year, and the picks weren't there. He was intercepting everything. If he picks off that pass, it gets the 49ers in the playoffs, which you never saw it. But if he did, he picked it off. You know, the whole season could be different. But I think he had a really good season, and I think teams starting to notice that a little bit. That's why I think it's important to kind of build some guys on the other side.
And then I think he'll also look pretty good with Stephon Gilmore on the opposite side this year. So, yeah, Denzel Ward's at top. This is going by average annual value. This isn't the total. So, average annual, Denzel Ward's at $20 million. Marshawn Lattimore is at 19.5 with the Saints. Marlon Humphrey, 19.5 with the Ravens. And then Xavier Howard is at 18.
Where's Ramsey? Is he not in that group? I thought he was over 20.
Oh, you know what? You might be right. Hold on. I'm sorry. Jair Alexander is the number 1 at 21. I'm sorry to refresh it. Ramsey's 5th. Yeah. He's at 18.3. So it's going to be in that neighborhood.
So it's $20 million.
It's definitely going to be 20. I think that there's the narrative about where he is and where he fits is part of this conversation, you know, and the physicality. You go back to that 49ers game, you brought up the interception. Mm-hmm. I'm going to bring up him not tackling the tight end a few plays before that. You know, and so those are things that are going to be brought up in negotiations, and that's part of the conversation with Diggs, being an all-around cornerback and fitting and doing what some of those other guys do that are making $20 million a year. So the problem is with the Cowboys is if not Diggs, then who? They're back. It's almost like a quarterback.
Yeah.
Because Gilmore's here for 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have a number 1 corner. This is his, you know, which is why Diggs is, you know, maybe it's franchise tag, it's the urgency to finally get this thing done. But if you don't, Diggs is the urgency because this is his last year. This is his contract year. Unlike you got 2 years with CeeDee. You got 2 years with Dak. This is it with Diggs.
So Diggs, so CeeDee's number is going to be like $17 million the next year, right? On the 5th-year option.
Yeah,
this is the 4th year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I think it could be Diggs. I mean, it could be CeeDee pretty quick here, but yeah, it might be Diggs because of what you said. I mean, they got to get this done, and I don't think he needs to prove it anymore. Like, I don't think the Cowboys are saying, well, let's see one more year on him to see. I don't think that's the case. I wouldn't. I mean, it's been a long time since you've had a really good corner.
And to me, that's kind of where I was going to land on at the end of all this is, hey, since Deion Sanders, you haven't had a player like this at that position. Mm-hmm. So the rate is $20 million. You just write down the $20 million, and you just know right now on your team, you're just going to have a bunch of spots where here's large numbers. I go back to when I covered the Lakers when Shaq and Kobe was there. It was like, all right, 80% of the money is being spent right here.
Yeah.
The rest of you guys get to chop up to 20%, and that's just going to be how it goes. So you've got to pay certain players in this game.
What's going to be interesting though is that Dak, if he gets one of those next in line contracts, then that's putting him back up there, you know, in the $50 million range. Like Micah Parsons, he's going to be paid as the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. I mean, as long as he keeps playing like this, he will get the top money for defensive player. It doesn't matter if you think he's a linebacker, defensive end, he will get that top money. So I wonder how you can make that work without looking on. I don't know any other team that's done that, where you have one of those quarterbacks like that, and then you also have the highest paid defensive player.
The Rams, and the Rams missed the playoffs. I mean,
I don't think the Rams ever had a quarterback getting like that.
Well, but Well, but I mean, okay, so when the Rams won it, I mean, Donald was making a lot,
yeah,
and so was Ramsey, and then I mean, Stafford was making a lot.
Stafford was making good money.
Yeah, but it wasn't that like
he didn't
elite.
Get the contract until afterwards.
Right. Yeah, it was like that was always thought of when Detroit traded him.
So Von Miller wasn't getting a lot right then either, I guess.
And the receiver wasn't getting that much at that point either.
Yeah.
They knew at that time when they were putting that together that it was going to be. You know, it's the same thing with the Eagles. Like obviously they do that with Jalen Hurts. Down the line, it's going to affect them. They're not going to be able to do as many big moves.
To your point about Shaq and Kobe, you know, I mean, that obviously the games are different. You don't have as many guys there, but you got to find the Derek Fishers if you're going to do that. If you're going to play that role, you've got to get, and that's why you have to draft well. You got to get cheap talent in the second, third, fourth round.
Which getting back to your Steele question, you know, if Steele's going to command a top 5 salary, I'm not paying.
Yeah, it's not going to be here.
Yeah,
I'm not paying it. I can get a Steele in the draft.
Yeah,
this is where
I'm not paying it.
This is where Matt Waletzko has a very key camp coming up here.
Awesome Richards that they just drafted.
Yeah, I'm not. He's commanding top 5 money, and he could get it on the market.
Yeah, I don't know if I disagree.
You know, I'm just not paying him because I do have to pay, especially for a right tackle. I'm not doing it. Left tackle is different. Not for a right tackle. I'm sorry, we're not doing it. You know, you got to pay Micah, and that bill is coming due. You already identified CeeDee and Diggs. And they're going to get top 5 money at their position. I'm not doing it for a right tackle.
So let's say we get through this year. I don't think this will happen, but let's say none of those deals get done. The year they just let this whole year play out. Year ends the exact same way as last year. Divisional round of the playoffs. Like, do you think that they're still all in on like, well, we're paying all 4 of those guys no matter what, or do you think that their plan might change a little bit?
Well, it depends on who's the quarter. Who's going? Is the coach still going to be here?
If that happens,
I don't know how much that impacts it, to be honest with you.
Oh, I think it does.
In what way? What coach is coming in here that's going to be like, no, I don't need those guys, or I only need 2 of those guys?
I don't know if it impacts it, but I will say this though: if that happens, where they don't go one game, one playoff win, they lose in the divisional round again. I mean, one of those 4, if not, 2 or 3 of them they're going to have some question marks. Just like this game. Diggs had a good game. I mean, good season. Took a step back with picks, but had a good season. But yet the play that you're talking about was in there. Dak's interceptions. Right. He was coming off one of the best games of any quarterback's ever had in a playoff game. Right. But yet no one cares about that because of what happened against the 49ers, which it's why you lose. You know.
I guess what I'm saying. I don't see a Byron Jones type guy amongst these where you just say, you know what, we'll let that one walk.
I don't either, but I just don't remember another time where they had all of these coming up at the same time. And on this level.
No, they don't, but DeMarcus Lawrence is falling off.
Yeah.
Tyron Smith will be falling off.
Right.
You know, and I
the
know.
cap will go up.
But I mean, I'm sorry, but I look at the Tyron and DeMarcus as those are kind of somewhat friendly a little bit. There's not going to be anything friendly about what we're just talking about here.
Well, they weren't friendly years ago.
Tyron's was always friendly.
But DeMarcus Lawrence wasn't.
Tyron's was one of the most friendly NFL contracts of all time.
They're going off. I'm just saying, though, that the cap is going up. The cap is going up. Again, Tony Pollard won't be getting $10 million next year.
These are definitely things to talk about. Let's hit a break. The run game. Let's dive into the Cowboys. You spoke of Mr. Pollard here. The run game, new offensive line coach, new offensive coordinator. Let's dive into this next with Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com, John Machota at The Athletic, Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star-Telegram, New East Coast. This is the Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite and 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field. United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf. For winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash on a Monday. Clarence Hill, maker of champions, joins us right here. Fort Worth Star Telegram. Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com. John Machota of The Athletic. All right, guys. Tony Pollard, coming off the injury, Pro Bowl season. We're assuming number one guy, if healthy. Who's his backup?
They're literally everybody else on the roster. You could make a case that they are not even on the 53 to start the season. Tony Pollard, to me, is the only running back that's locked in to start the season. Now, obviously, I think that, like Deuce Vaughn, I expect him to make the team. You know, I wouldn't be surprised Ronald Jones or
Malik.
Yeah, Malik Davis, too. But there's still a part of me that thinks that there's the short yardage guy not on the roster. I'm sorry.
Has he ever been on the roster?
Well, yeah, I thought Zeke was for sure.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm asking is the guy that is he going to come back? That's what
No,
I
I don't see him coming back, but I just think
you're
that
not believing all that. I'm not either.
Believing what? Who's saying
Jerry?
Yeah, Jerry keeps the door.
Just like Jerry said, we're all in OBJ when they never talk to him. Jerry just going to say that to continue because it's good for TV and it's good for headlines.
Jerry's saying in the shower, he's thinking about
player and contract aside, what he was bringing these last few years, this team is now missing. You can say whatever you want about Ezekiel Elliott. You felt confident, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, big moment. You could hand it to him. He's going to get you that yard.
Because he did.
Who is that guy now? And I don't see another guy on the roster that's even a comp.
Well, two things that came.
Rico Dowdle?
No.
Sorry.
Two things that came about at the end of last season is they started doing the Philly quarterback sneak. That's their third and 1, 4th and 1 is Dak. Quarterback sneak. They should have been doing it. Dak is a big guy, okay?
I understand, but there was a run there, where it's like anytime he even got hit, you were kind of like, whoa, did you see him? Like, I remember the Tennessee. I remember the Tennessee game vividly. It was like a typical hit, and the way he turned his thing, I was like, oh, wow.
If the NFL is not going to outlaw it, it works for Philly.
It works with Philly before you pay the guy $50 million, man. I don't know.
They're gonna still do it because it's
who he is.
They gotta outlaw that.
It's unstoppable. Let's just be honest about it.
Until he gets hurt.
That's fine until he gets hurt. But
it's a lot of money.
Dak, when he started sneaking last year, they never stopped it. It's something that should have always been. I just don't understand a quarterback that big.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot of runs. I'm talking about like Zeke was doing that like 4 or 5 times a game, 6 times a game at least in big situations like that. And it just was not the same results when Pollard was in there.
I'm going for it with Dak. I'm pushing.
And I'm also when I'm saying this, I'm
pushing it. But
when I'm saying this too, I'm not talking about how you have to make some big impact spending. I'm talking like training camp, like an Anthony Barr type addition during training camp. Rosters get cut down. Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
Could be that type of guy.
It would not surprise me if that player is not on the roster yet, but is week 1.
But just getting back to Zeke, Zeke is out in other places. I mean, Jerry's talking. He's not talking to Zeke's guys, okay? He's not talking to Zeke's people. He just, you'll ask him, we're never closing that door. Of course, never closing that door. But that's not a focus. That's not what they're trying to do.
I think Malik Davis will probably be the guy to be a backup. I think he'll be the player that will take some of those carries.
And I'm sure they want to give them mini camp and all that, and even in a training camp to be like, hey, we want to see one of these guys emerge. I get all that, but it just wouldn't surprise me as we get closer to the season. They're like, we got to go get somebody. There's just too much on the line to risk being like, we just did our best. I feel the same way about left guard. Like, as much as they want to hesitate, not talking about Tyler Smith at left guard.
But who are you getting, though? I don't want to get the guy that's been sitting around like Anthony Barr was or Jason Peters, then it takes a while to get that. I want the guy that's in a training camp, and you're like, well,
there'll be plenty of those guys cut. The thing about it is that again, that guy, whoever he is going to have to play special teams. You're not going to have a guy that's just there to be your 4th and 1 guy.
I was going to say a name, but we can't say a name because I'm not sure if he's a free agent, so I don't want to do that. But Rico Dowdle was a guy they liked, then he got hurt, and then he just kind of vanished. Yeah. We know what happened.
Yeah, Malik Davis.
Yeah, and Rico was dealing with injuries, too, though.
He was in the year before. Malik Davis showed up and was better in camp.
Yeah.
Malik Davis was back on the roster, but Malik Davis showed up and was better in camp last year. He watched the game. He flashed, and when he played in games, he flashed. Malik Davis is what was the difference.
And John Fossil said that Malik Davis is one of the best rookies he's ever had on the special teams.
Right.
As far as being alert and knowing on the personal protector. So, I mean, to have a rookie that can do that, like you just said about special teams, he was a guy that trusted. Not saying that Rico Dowdle wasn't, but once you find
all I'm saying is there's no way they're having Malik and Rico on his roster.
No. You don't think so?
No, not both.
No.
Not both. You know what's funny about I was looking at available running backs that are free agents that are out there. Looking at like the top 10, Zeke is the youngest of those. I'm talking about legitimate options at front.
If Ezekiel Elliott had been playing since 2016 with the New York Jets and was in this situation.
What are we doing here, sir?
I'm trying to find a. Sorry about that.
Oh, my. If he was with the New York
Jets.
I
think this guy does TV for
I mean, 2016.
I'm trying to find a box score right here.
And they were cutting Zeke in New York because they were like, we can't pay him anymore. I could totally see him coming to the Cowboys. Obviously, it would be for a lot less money, but because he was with the Cowboys, they're not bringing him back. But what he brought at the end of his time with the Cowboys is exactly what this team's missing right now.
Yeah.
So here it is. I kept trying to get back to this. I was going through these videos, but I kept trying to get back to this here. All right. So I asked this question, and it actually did the same thing in the last show.
Little button on the side of the phone.
So we do all this talk about run. Mike McCarthy's going to be calling the plays now. Do you know how many rushes he had in the Super Bowl that he won at Jerry World?
Did you see that receiving core? Did you see that quarterback at the top of his game, the prime of his career?
When Mike McCarthy said at the where was it at? We were in Indianapolis.
It was
at that lunch. When he said that about running the run more, I took it, and maybe you disagree with me, I took it as more of, I thought of the Jacksonville game and the Green Bay game. We have these leads.
The 3-and-out, 50-second drive.
100%. That's not. Hey, this is what we're doing. We're playing defense. We're running the ball 40 times a game. I never took it that way. I know some people did.
Yeah, no, he's talking about being more efficient.
13 carries in the Super Bowl, and 2 of those were by Aaron Rodgers. So really, 11. James Starks, 52 yards, 11 carries. Mike's not a guy that's going to really run. We talk about it, but, I mean, he'll run a little bit. But I am very interested to see. Now, you got Brian Schottenheimer in here, and Schotty's career has been about running the football with the Jets.
Yeah, but I think that, without the respect.
Can I finish?
Without the respect.
Can I finish? No.
He had Aaron Rodgers.
Schottenheimer didn't have Aaron Rodgers.
I'm talking about Mike McCarthy when he was passing ball all over the field. He had freaking Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, well, this isn't Aaron Rodgers.
In the prime of his career.
This isn't Aaron Rodgers.
Right, but you cannot judge him not wanting to run or running and being pass happy when he don't have Aaron Rodgers. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry. Continue on.
You're not sorry, though.
No, he's not. I
agree, though. I agree, Newey. I mean, how many points did they score that game?
31.
31. They were scoring. I mean,
I'm just going back to James Starks because I don't even see a James Starks on this team.
I mean,
a big running back.
I don't know. He had to be like 6 foot, 220.
He was a big dude.
Yeah, but again, that
you were
receiver
40.
Listen. I go back. I'm shocked they didn't win more. I'm still flabbergasted. That team, after what they did and where they played in that Super Bowl.
I hate when that.
I'm shocked and flabbergasted.
Well, you know what adds to it is the fact that you bookend those 2 quarterbacks together. And if you would have told anybody that you're going to get those for 30 years, you'd think that's probably 5 titles. You know.
And I know we're talking with Cowboys show, but it is to me one of the biggest upsets in my mind covering the NFL over the last 27 years, because I came in again.
Yeah, when they started to roll.
I came in after the decline of the Cowboys when Green Bay and Brett Favre won on back-to-back MVPs, and they won a Super. Like, okay, this Brett's turn. Everybody thought it was Brett. Yeah. He won one.
I've always thought of them as like almost the Spurs. of the NFL.
Yes.
And if you told me that Spurs crew only got 2 titles, I'd be like, whoa.
He won 1, and then Aaron Rodgers comes, and then everybody, he's ready to pass Tom Brady, he's ready to pass Peyton Manning, he's the best pure thrower in the game.
Which shows you how hard it is.
I know that, but I'm just saying, he has never gone back.
And in some ways, when you think about this, some of you got to put on him.
Exactly.
They had
absolutely.
They had Tampa
Both
Bay.
quarterbacks.
They had Tampa Bay at Green Bay a couple years ago in the NFC Championship game. Blew it. Favre is down here with Minnesota. They about to go win it. He throws a pick. Favre and Green Bay were in the Super Bowl score. I was the first Super Bowl game I went to, Super Bowl 31. They scored the first touchdown. You thought they were about to blow Denver out. They were a double-digit lead. So somewhere it's hard.
No, but
it is hard. And
it's hard.
And there's a chance Joe Burrow may never go back.
Right.
You know, and so
Dan
when,
Marino, it's hard.
Jalen Hurts might never go back.
Facts. Those are facts. And so when people try to put that on Dak, well, he's never done this, never done. I mean, it is hard.
Guys, all I know is I have lived this whole. They should have won more as a North Carolina basketball fan. It is hard.
They should have.
That's a good point.
They should have.
It is hard, and along the way, we don't want to.
God, can you imagine having Michael Jordan as a junior and not winning?
It's not like the guy ain't come out here like Mac Brown, okay?
Your buddy now. You're loving Mac Brown now,
Mac
North
Brown,
Carolina.
okay? So we're going to take a break. I'm not about to sink into this hole with you like you do on Twitter with people.
Really?
Clarence Hill, Nick Eatman, John Machota, Anuri Scruggs, Media Mash right here on DallasCowboys.com.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Want to use the Cowboys locker room's favorite products? Check out the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. Right now, you can get the Jack Black Playmaker, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The Playmaker includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word Cowboys. The Jack Black Playmaker, $10, free shipping.
No one knows where this market will go. Right now, it feels like a wild ride. But one thing's for certain, there's a way through it. And the experience and guidance of a Merrill advisor can help you get there. Because where there's a bull, there's a way. Find an advisor in North Texas at ml.com/bullish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor. Member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
Hey, honey, can we talk?
Of course. What's up?
Well, I just thought you should know I've been curious about the new Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream.
Have you felt this way a long time?
No, I just think I'd really like the taste of Dr. Pepper, swirled with layers of flavor.
If you feel that way, I think you should try it, babe.
It's amazing. I mean, you're amazing too.
New Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream. The new flavor you deserve.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash. DallasCowboys.com radio. Clarence Hill, 4-Star Telegram. Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com. And we've got John Machota of The Athletic. By the way, want to give a shout out to Roxanne and everybody over here at Dallas Cowboys Media. The draft special that they put together. If you loved watching Chris Vaughn break down, they do an even better job where you see him on the phone outside talking to Deuce before the draft pick, and then you hear Jerry talking to McCarthy about turning the name in. And even though I'd seen it before, man, my eyes watered up because it was just so compelling. Then we've seen some of the video. I think, John, you put out there about Mozzie and when Jerry's asking Will McClay but watch the whole thing of how great it was, and the scouts down there in Mobile, Alabama. You see him over there at Iowa State, Iowa, and Ohio State. If you're a Cowboy fan, you want to know how the sausage is made. Man, the special that they did was fantastic television.
It's funny you say that because it doesn't even have anything to do with the Cowboys. But so working at The Athletic, I'm friends with Joe Person, who covers the Carolina Panthers. And I was like, Joe, I just got done watching this video, and I go, it has really nothing to do with anything Cowboys. But, man, if you scroll to, like, the 45-minute mark for, like, 3 minutes straight, everybody in the organization talks about Bryce Young. And it's really good behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm like, I don't know, you might want to use this. Like, how often you get to see, like, an entire – because obviously they were fine with having that audio out there because it wasn't like they were ever going to draft Bryce Young. But the way that everybody – Will McClay, the scouts, Mike McCarthy, everybody talks about him in that, I'm like, I guarantee you can use some of this in a story. So, yeah, it was great.
So it was fantastic. Get you some Johnny Walker Blue. Sit down and watch it there, Clarence, and you'll enjoy it. So it's good stuff. So Nick, make sure you let Roxanne and everybody know over there. That was.
And she was on that story. I'll just say it for Roxanne. She was on that story for a long time, obviously, because they interviewed them at the Combine. So yeah, this was a feel-good type of story that was going to be good regardless of what happened. He gets drafted by the Atlanta Falcons or whatever, they were going to go pan to him in there and show Chris and high five him and get excited, for him and all that. But the fact that it happened the way it did, and I love the one thing I love the most is that when all these guys were talking, is when Jerry talked to him and said, "You've earned being here." This was not. I mean, they could have taken him when they took Earl. Was it not Earl? Scott, though. They took
Eric Scott Jr.
Eric Scott, sorry. They took him from Southern Miss. I mean, they could have taken him at fifth round or sixth round and all that, but they took him when they took him. But he's earned all that, and I'm kind of excited to see what he can do. I just hope that the offense coordinators and running backs coach figure out a way to really make him a dynamic type player. Sproles, man, that dude was a monster.
And played for a long time.
Yeah, but he also did on return. So being a punt returner, all that stuff, that was part of it.
I know, it was part of it. I mean, why didn't
he do more of that Kansas State?
Those guys can be a problem.
He did some return. He started early in his career with a returner.
I mean, I could see he was so heavily used in offense, they probably didn't want to.
Yeah, but he was a return early.
He does seem like he'd be the perfect.
Well, it's just like with Turpin. When they're returning punts and kickoffs, you got to find him first.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Is you got to find him because he's so little, and then all of a sudden, they scoot by you. I mean, I think Turpin too. I mean, what he's going to do this offseason, I think they should get him involved too. I mean, we did talk to Dak this offseason at one of those community events, and he said that Turpin has been out to the house for the Dak yard.
The thing about the Turpin thing is that it's all season people ask him about Turpin. He's going to be involved in the offense. They never found a role for him, so they got to show me.
Yeah, I know.
The other thing is with all that.
He's going to. He ain't got nothing else to do. But that doesn't mean the coaches are going to put him involved in the offense.
Hold on, but he came in when he came in was like 3 or 4 days into camp, and it was like, we don't really have a punt returner. If this is what you do best, go do it. We'll figure out the offense stuff, and they never really did. But he was pretty good at the return, so they kept it going. This offseason, there's no excuse for him not to take that next level and for them to use him because they needed some juice last year, and he's there. He can do it. I mean, him, Vaughn, I think they've got some players that they should be able to use.
And everything you guys are saying makes sense. My whole thing is Brandon Cooks isn't very big. Turpin, Vaughn. I have doubts about them using all these guys like that. I understand it works in college, but like with Mike McCarthy, I understand, he had Randall Cobb. Name the other guy. Because that's not – Randall Cobb's the outlier. When Mike McCarthy was in Green Bay, it was all bigger receivers. It was all the West Coast style receivers. So if it's going to be all this stuff, throwing all this gadget stuff behind the line of scrimmage and getting these guys the ball and stuff like that, I'm all for it. But I'll believe when I see it.
He was in the lab.
Who?
McCarthy. In the lab.
Haven't we learned to just not compare what McCarthy was in Green Bay with the offense because the quarterback's different? He's different.
He's in the lab, man.
Okay.
Ready for
but I also think Dak would prefer to throw to the bigger receivers too, and I think his career would speak to that.
He would definitely prefer to throw to bigger receivers. You talking about catch radius?
I'm just saying I would
tight
think
window throws.
I'm just saying that I would think for all of these smaller type receivers that are quick and that, I would have thought that would have been more of what Kellen Moore wanted to do as opposed to what I would expect Mike McCarthy
they had
to
a
do.
big receiver, good size receiver they drafted last year. Is he going to show up?
Well, that's what they're obviously banking on.
You mean from last year or 2 years ago?
I really, honestly, I do believe if they
Tolbert is who you're talking
right.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Clarence
Jalen
Hill is
Tolbert.
talking about Jalen Tolbert, and I do believe if they didn't think they were going to get very much from him, I do think that you would have seen the actions, and that would have been them drafting somebody. And I'm not saying in the first or second round, but they did.
We have seen Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson. We have seen them develop their careers.
They never trusted Noah Brown.
Huh?
They never trusted Noah Brown.
That's not what I said. I said we've seen these low round picks though, and he's not even a low round pick.
He's not.
No, but we have seen guys that you probably already wrote off, and they because of their time working with Dak and building up some trust that they were actually pretty good players for their role. Noah Brown should have never been a number 2 receiver. If he was a 4 or
number
5,
3 receiver.
If he was 4 or 5, he would have been fine.
Yeah.
Same with Cedric Wilson. Those guys developed. And all I'm saying is Jalen Tolbert, I've said it 1,000 times, I'll say it again, he had 8 catches his freshman year at South Alabama. Then he had 55, and he had 81.
Don't give up on him.
He figured out a way to figure it out at South Alabama. I think he can do the same.
And I also think you draft a guy in the 3rd round because you're hoping he's going to be part of your starting trio. And they don't need him to be in their start. They need him to be their 4th wide receiver. And if that's too much to ask, well, then you got to go in another direction. But I do believe that they think that they're going to get 4th receiver type production.
I talked to him at 30 minutes in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. He said the word bust. He said it. He goes, I know that the fans are calling me a bust. I get it. And that's what they get to do. It's my job to prove to them that I'm not. And so he's not, his head's not in the sand. He's figuring out he took fault.
He's recognized
he took fault for standing on the line and not looking at the ref. And so let's see if he's accountable. Let's see if it translates to that. He says all the right things. Let's see if he can do it.
You guys had an opportunity to talk to Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator.
I have not.
He's not the offensive coordinator. Let's be honest. I mean, it sounds good, but what do we need to talk to him about? Seriously, I mean, can we just be honest?
Hey, how much time we got left?
What do we need to talk to him about?
How much time we got left?
Mike McCarthy is offensive coordinator.
How much time we got left?
It's Mike McCarthy's offensive coordinator. It's just a name on it. It's a name. It's a title.
Do you guys really care and think it's a big deal that Micah's working out in Austin? Because I don't. So I was wondering your guys' take on that.
I don't know why you need to work out in Austin. Like they're not million workout workers.
Sure.
There's so many.
That's fair.
They got plenty of guys that can do boxing and stuff here.
Right.
There's not a reason. This is not a good enough reason not to miss OTAs. Be with your teammates. At the end of the day, it's not a big deal because the Cowboys are making the big deal. They clearly have co-signed with it or letting it go, so it's not going to be a big deal. But there's no.
Did you think
nothing special in Austin that you can't create here to do what he's doing?
You sure? I mean,
I love Austin.
I know.
They got 6th Street in Austin.
I know.
I heard about that.
So that's what I'm saying is that
they got 6th Street.
There probably
got a
is
mini
something
statue
there
out
that
there
is
somewhere.
not
Okay, what I'm talking about as far
I don't know.
I'm talking about as far as the working out and bulking up and the things that we're saying why he's in Austin. He's not saying he's in Austin for those extracurricular stuff.
We're not even. I don't even know what that is. But I will say,
you don't know what extracurricular is?
No. Okay. No, I do not.
Yeah, you would. Yes, they don't do that stuff at Midwestern State.
Nope, not at all. Trayvon Diggs.
I'm being facetious. He knows I'm being facetious.
He was here for like 3 days. I mean, whatever the mandatory days were last year, Trayvon Diggs was here for it. So now you can argue, did he take a step back last year? I mean, maybe he did. Stats.
There were just so many years under Jason Garrett where this was a big storyline. Just so many guys here, so many guys here. And then at the end of the year, I didn't see the wins behind it.
It was a storyline here with Mike. Mike talks about, hey, guys living there.
No, he does. But I'm just saying,
everybody says the
Jason
same
couldn't
thing.
coach, so let's just put that
Everybody
in.
says the same thing. But,
I'm just saying, that was
at the
always
end
a
of the
big
day, it's
storyline.
not a big deal because the
don't think it is
Cowboys
either.
are not making it a big deal. What do
Right.
voluntary mean?
Darren Hambrick.
It's voluntary. What does voluntary mean?
Oh, are you going to change positions? I mean, if so, we'd like for you to be here with the coaches.
All of that, too. Exactly. But that's why you got OTAs in training camp.
His position, though, that old NFL Films clip of Bill Cowher telling Greg Lloyd, rush the quarterback.
Yeah, that's his position.
Rush the quarterback. That's your job. Rush the quarterback.
Yeah, now does he need to work on defensive line technique, for the run stuff, all the other stuff. Can he get that in training camp? I'm sure.
I know that you're not supposed to think of it this way, but this is how I do. As long as he's healthy enough to play, that stuff will all take care of itself. There's just some guys that are just freak athletes that they can just show up, but as long as he's healthy and he can play and he's not beaten down towards the end of the season like he was last year, where when we would talk to him and he would be like talking about all the things that he's dealing with, if he's as close as they can get him to healthy and productive and he's out there for as many snaps as possible, I really don't care where he works out in the offseason.
And I talked about on this show toward the end of the season, he had to buck up. He's going to be defensive end. Yeah. It takes a toll. I was talking to Greg Ellis at church yesterday. We asked me to go to church together. We were talking about this. Nice. That defensive end position,
hope he prayed for
it's a war daddy position. There's a toll that takes on your body when you have to play the run and getting chipped and the offensive lineman the whole time. He said he told me he hopes they protect him because having to go against 300-pound tackles – every play is different than playing linebacker.
Here's the potential issue with that. You don't care where Micah Parsons is in the offseason because he's a freak.
Yeah.
But I'm just throwing this out there. Damone Clark, Jabril Cox.
Oh, no.
They want to I want to go to Phoenix. I want to go to Arizona.
They're not good enough to do that.
I get it. Okay.
That's the way pro sports is.
I understand. So, that being said, no, you pretty much need to be here. Then you've got now Micah comes back in the mix. He's missed a little bit of time. Whose defense is this? Is this Tank's? Is this Layton's? Is it Micah's because he's the best player? And then I'm not saying this would happen, but I think that is the beginning of where friction could start in the locker room because, yes, players are treated differently, but in something like this, it's all I'm saying is that's where I think
as long as he produces, none of it will matter.
Here's the other thing. Just throw this out there. Bill Parcells said you don't want a celebrity quarterback. Do you want a celebrity linebacker?
Yeah, it's fine with me. They're not the quarterback.
I mean, because
he's a celebrity
Micah is enjoying life of being a Cowboy, being a celebrity linebacker, like he likes being in different places, being in the spotlight.
And everything you're saying, you can take his name out of it and you can replace it with the best player in the league, and it's not even close. That's Patrick Mahomes. If you're on this thing as much as I am, he's at everything. Miami Grand Prix, he's at every single thing like that. And he's been like that. Exactly. That's why I'm saying you can do that when you're on that level.
Yeah, he got 3 titles.
Did Jackson make it to the Grand Prix?
He's got 2. What?
Jackson Mahomes, did he make it to the Grand Prix?
Stop it. Now you're being petty. He poor Jackson.
He
got an ankle brace.
I'm a 96 Bulls type. Rodman's going to go to Las Vegas. Just deal with it because
James Harden just went to Vegas.
Right. Well, he's not on that level. But if you're winning the championships, and I'm not saying this for college, high school, anything like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying on the pro level, and you're that type of guy. If you're any of the other players you named, it's ridiculous for you to think that you're going to be treated the same. This is professional sports,
Right. I'm not saying you treat them the same, but all I'm saying is that when you start drawing the lines like, yeah, you can go to Austin, you can't.
Yeah,
that's.
Well, and I
feel like they would understand that.
And I think football is different than basketball because the mentality of all for one, one for all. We're one unit. We do one voice. All this other stuff.
All I know is when business was booming, and for this team, when business was booming, the head coach was not treating everybody the same.
No, but when business was booming, even those guys that were treated differently, when it was time to work, they were working here at the team. Michael Irvin, let's talk about it. Yeah. He did all the other stuff. Nobody workked harder. Nobody was here more.
How do you know that he's not working hard?
Let's see what happens with the OTAs.
He was here, though.
Because right now it's
I'm talking about here. We're talking about here. Everything was about the team and with the team. Yeah. It wasn't I'm outside by myself.
Yeah, but
ultimately you raised the point that I don't care.
I don't.
I don't care either. Okay, I don't care either. But all I'm saying is that he hasn't missed anything yet. Yeah. He really hasn't. He's missed.
Well, I bring it up because just people talk online about like, oh, is this going to be like where he's going to be holding out for a contract and doing all this stuff like that? I'm also of that belief of like, well, if that happens, that happens. If Trayvon Diggs doesn't show up because that's the part of the business. You just
never a holdout until you miss checks.
First of all, you can't hold out no more. They've changed rules, but there will be no holdouts. Now you might get franchised and don't show up and all that stuff, but there's no holdouts anymore like Zeke.
Okay, last thing, and we get out of here with this because I'm just getting ready. We're watching NFL Network over here.
Great game.
Kicker. Who's going to be?
I'm going to say it's going to be Robbie. Oh wait, yeah, we can say if they're free agents, right?
He's a free agent.
Yeah,
he was cut.
Yeah, we can say free agents though, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Robbie Gould would be my.
Or Bill's guy from Green Bay is free too.
Oh, Mason Crosby.
I'm not Bill. I keep saying Bill. Mike's guy.
No, I know what you meant. Yeah.
One.
Huh?
Either one.
Yeah.
Robbie Gould and Mason Crosby have kicked in the worst weather and worst conditions of all time, and they've made it through. And they're going to play 8 or 9 games.
Indoors.
I'm just stuck on at the end of the year, Robbie Gould was interviewed about possibly coming back to San Francisco, and he was like, I'm really not, at my age, he's 40, I think 40, 41, I'm not trying to really kick outside anymore. Because, it was an article, it was an interview about going back to Chicago. Right. And he was like, I'm not really, where I'm at in my career, I'm trying to kick indoors somewhere. And so when he said that, I was kind of like, yeah, that kind of would make sense.
And also, if you just look at it and go, okay, the Cowboys, watching it, we're all in this press box, like, Cowboys could win this game. What's the problem? Well, this guy can't miss any kicks from 50 or plus, and this guy can't make anything 25 and in. So that's why this, it's 9-9 or 6-6, and the Cowboys to that point were probably outplaying them, but because they couldn't kick the ball, and so it's like now you have a chance to get that guy on this team with a little bit more healthy playmakers.
And
how would you guys have felt if they would have drafted a kicker in the 3rd round?
Michigan kid.
If they would have taken him in the 3rd round, let's say over Overshown, do you think everybody would have been cool with that?
Yes.
Well, they would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know about that.
What they wouldn't have been cool with is that are we changing the stripe to like the Michigan? I mean, that's 3 Michigan players in a row.
I think they'd have been cool, and I think the Cowboys looking to take a kicker. I don't think they weren't.
Yeah, 3rd is what I'm talking
I hope
about.
that changes. I hope this draft changes that a little bit. These games matter. Yeah. But 3rd, 4th round for a kicker that's going to yes.
But just piggybacking on what y'all were saying, even Jerry said at the draft they're looking at a veteran kicker.
Yeah.
And so he could have just put Gold.
I think that Moody was their 2nd highest rated kicker. I think the one from Maryland was the one that more. But
when I saw 3rd round, I was like, "There's no way this Cowboys team was taken with everything that they needed to address again for the future." I'm not talking about necessarily right now, but like you mentioned, with all those contracts, you have to draft and you have to hit on a lot of these picks. 3rd round, I thought they never would have done that.
Who's the 4th round pick? I kind of forgot.
Wow, Viliami Fehoko.
Fehoko.
I mean,
Mountain West
guy.
Conference Player of the Year.
Oh, trust me, I know they're a fan of that one. I know Dan Quinn is a fan of that one, big time.
And
so
you know what? And that's all you need.
That's all you need.
DQ signed off, and it's all good. And matter of fact, let's sign off right now. John Bishotta, The Athletic, Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com radio, Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star Telegram, I'm Newey Scruggs. This has been the Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!